plaintiff, Michael Johnson, rented a house to the defendants, and he claims while living there, illegal drugs were found at the property, and a 2-year-old who was visiting ingested crystal meth. Michael's suing his former tenants for rent and late fees. Defendants Mary Dugan and her husband Randall say Michael was an irresponsible landlord who did not maintain their property. Mary claims their house was infested with mice, and Michael did nothing about it, and they're countersuing for harassment and emotional distress.
Start with you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I met the defendants in April of 2013. Seemed like normal, upstanding citizens. Soon found out that wasn't the case. Started getting information from my neighbors, or former neighbors, their neighbors, that there was traffic in and out of the house 24/7. Then, while they were in the on the property, there was a 2-year-old that ingested some crystal meth.
When was that?
That was, I'm not sure when that was. My HOA. I've got a witness statement from my HOA.
Why don't you read me the part that you think is most relevant today?
Let's see. One time, illegal drugs was found on the property after an incident with a young child ingesting a narcotic pill. Several other homeowners complained about the tenants often during the time that they were there. The above issue was brought up during an annual homeowners association.
Can you say when that homeowners association meeting was?
It does not, Your Honor. I was out of state. I was on the other side of the country.
No, I believe it. They're saying, excuse me, and they give a few references discussed at the board meeting. Found. How was it found? Do you know whether the police came and
I do
found
believe
it?
the police were there. I'm not able to get the
very
information.
Specific, and they have no motive for lying if they were moving out when they told you this. This is when they were moving out?
No, I don't know when that was. I got the statement from the HOA literally a week ago.
To whom it may concern. All right. It was noticed that the property was not maintained properly. The lawn was never watered or kept up. Junk vehicles were parked in the back of the house. There was lots of traffic to and from the house at all times throughout the day. There was loud music coming from the back garage. During one event, there was a fight in the middle of the night in front of my residence on Shannon Court. People that did not inhabit the home were seen walking to and from the house frequently and were of questionable character. I did not feel safe having my children walk around outside by themselves. Police and other emergency responder vehicles were a regular occurrence at the residence. One time, illegal drugs were found in the home after an incident with a young child swallowing a narcotic pill. Several other homeowners complained about the tenants often during the time there, and above issues were brought up during our annual homeowners meeting and officers meeting. She came to my residence and tried to apologize and to make excuses for the drugs being in their home. She stated that they were renting out rooms to help pay the house payment, which they could not afford. I did not believe a word that Mary said and was honestly not surprised with drugs being found in the home. Want to respond to everything you heard that the homeowner association's administrator said?
Yeah, I would.
Go ahead.
For one, it was more ambulances. My husband has degenerative disc disease with 11 blown discs, and when his back locks up, I can't move him. Nobody can move him. I have to have an ambulance. When they bring an ambulance, they bring a sheriff, they bring a fire department, they bring the ambulance.
Why does the sheriff come?
Because they always bring a sheriff in the state of Montana because guns are always in the homes. Because it is a hunting area.
So if you say, my husband can't budge, I think he's in a coma.
They will still
not bring
go
the
in your
sheriffs
house
with their guns drawn.
No.
Do you know this to be the law or
I've
policy?
I've never seen that. I've not.
Basically, what it is that the sheriff has to come and clear the house, period. That is the rulings. And then at that point, the ambulance and or the fire department may enter.
Anything else you want to address the allegation?
The fact that there was a fight in front of her house, I have no knowledge of that.
Okay.
No.
Anything else you want to address?
And the so-called meth found in our house, like I said,
Yeah.
it was a tenant in our home, and her friend's daughter went upstairs into her room and ingested a Valium. We have no idea what she was doing because it was
lived
stipulated.
in the same household?
It was stipulated upon move-in with any of the subletters.
Got it. You lived in the same household?
No drugs, yes.
How many bedrooms?
It was a 5-bedroom house.
All right. And did you see a lot of traffic coming in and out?
No.
All
We
right.
had 3 people working 3 different hours, 4 people working 4 different hours. They come and go. There was no major traffic at this house in any shape at all. I would not tolerate it. And Mike was never in the picture. He only got into the picture a little over a year and a half, 2 years ago, just before my daughter was killed. And
How was your daughter killed? Sorry to hear that.
she's a college student killed on her first trip with her boyfriend.
Car
In
accident?
May
That's the
8th of
second child I've
2015.
How? Why?
This here hasn't been this way since 1977.
What happened to the other child?
He's a fallen soldier.
Leaving the Air Force Base.
Yeah, and what they say is somewhat consistent with this, and that is the Homeowners Association administrator said that she told them exactly what she's telling me today. When is the last time you read this, or did you have?
I've never
ever
seen
read
that.
This?
I've
Yeah,
never seen
she's
that.
Never seen this.
And the
yet
female homeowner that he was speaking to never indicated to me that she was uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form.
She says she's never read this, and I don't have because she wrote this to you, so it makes sense that she had never read it. And everything she alleged, she addressed it the same way she addressed it to the person who wrote it. So I'm inclined to believe her. All right, you all give me some background.
We met Mike in April of 2013. Seemed like a nice guy. He moved back east. His ex-wife was who we dealt with majority of the time. All rents were paid in cash, directly deposited into her
I
account.
haven't gotten to that yet. What type of landlord was he?
The type of landlord he was when he was involved, irresponsible, not willing to do maintenance or repairs to things when they came up. And we ended up paying out of pocket for my 95% of the things that happened.
What was happening?
Water heater went out. They told us to turn on a little electronic water heater underneath the stairs and the dining room in a little cubby hole.
That was when again?
August of 2015.
Okay, 2
is
years
when I
ago.
got when I got the
Do you have
permission to
anything
remove.
more recent other than 2 years ago?
Mice infestation.
All right. And when was that?
That started in,
The end of March of 2015, just before my daughter was killed.
End of March.
and it went on until we moved out.
All right.
Point where I'd open the pantry
March.
cabinet, they'd jump across the pantry cabinet.
March
in
of
the chest.
15. And you all moved in once again in 13.
Yeah.
In May of 2013.
So you all lived there for 2 years and never saw mice?
For a
Yes.
year
What
and
do
a
you
half,
think
yeah.
happened? That suddenly 2
when the-
years after
I
you
think
moved
what
in, they showed up.
What happened is when they replaced the water heater, the water heater vent was on the bottom.
No,
Right.
they only start coming in 2 years after you lived there.
Right.
Yeah.
But the
Right,
reason,
yeah. Why?
like I'm saying.
Why'd they
because
wait?
if
Couldn't
you-
tell you, I'm not a mouse.
Okay, all right. And let me get to the rent from you, sir. They allege they paid every single dime.
Well, my ex's ledger indicates otherwise.
Let me see it, please. And how far back were they late?
To this, well,
Or
this,
failed to
this only
pay.
goes back to 15.
All right, so I'm looking here. They owed in August of 15, $1,500. Yet they were allowed to stay until February of 17. Why wasn't your ex or you concerned about your money for 2 years?
Oh, we were concerned.
Then why did
We were
you
very
let him
concerned.
stay there for 2 years? I've never heard of a landlord, unless the person is related, say they can stay for 2 years when they owe an entire month. And then I'm looking here for other ones. They owe another $1,250. They owe another $1,000. Why were you all so generous to them?
My ex lived 120 miles away, and I lived 1,800 miles
Mm-hmm.
away. She kept the dialogue with him. Here's a statement from my ex on
I'm sure she's going
on the
to say
on how they were
understand.
to deal
You're
with
a
it.
joke, Mike.
Who was collecting the money?
My ex.
This guy is a joke. You know, the day after my daughter...
However, you all, it says on this that you told the HOA administrator that you stated you were renting out rooms. You told me that too. to help pay the house payment, which they could not afford due to losing jobs. So you couldn't afford it.
If this helps you, Your Honor, this is not the first time they've allowed someone to just stay in their house. And that's the first
Why
one
did you
was
pay every month cash for 2
because
years?
I do things with cash I don't like, and
That's
the
that
fact
meth
that
money, huh?
no, not really. It's
Just
called.
kidding with you, man.
I'm old school. My mother
You
and
don't
father
take
were-
checks when they come for that meth. No, just kidding with
After
you,
you
man.
bury
Go
2
ahead.
children, you just
Just
don't
have
give a
Sir, you're in the wrong place if you didn't want to come here and have a little fun.
I have no problem with fun, but
All right.
burying my children.
I just said I'm kidding. See, I'm not saying anything about your children, sir.
He's-
You've said it a few times.
I know,
And
I'm
I haven't
sorry.
addressed it one time. I said, I'm sorry to hear that, yet you've brought it up in defense to being sued. That's not a good idea.
Your Honor.
It's not a good idea to bring up your children's death in defense to being sued. Just not a good idea. Go ahead. Your counterclaim for $5,000 for harassment. How does he owe you, man?
The day after my daughter was killed, I had to pay for the, excuse my French, the hot water heater. I had to help install it. He did nothing.
What does that have to do with your daughter?
For a year, it was a day after my daughter was
No,
killed.
but why are you mentioning
He
that?
was
What does that
getting-
I
have
had
to do with
emotionally,
today's
I had to
case?
deal with his to get.
You've cursed too many times. Your claim is dismissed. Yours is. Have a good.